Hey guys, Cam for 15, joined by my co-host Sarah Wolf, and we are back yet at it yet again with another My Hero Academia anime episode review for you guys as we are continuing on with season 6 as we only have about 3 more episodes left of this season. And interesting episode we got here.
That was looking. Oh my God. Now I see what you mean. Deku's scaring me right now.
And wait, hold. What did you mean by what did I mean when I told you?
When you asked me, will Deku actually fight his friends? Now I see.
Oh, yes, that part.
Now I see the type of Deku that actually would. Before when this whole Dark Hero Deku started becoming a thing, it was hard for me to picture that until All for One started playing with,
Yes. This episode was interesting on all fronts, you know. You have Deku hungry to go after All for One and Shigaraki. You find out another hero quit. Deku leaves, All Might.
Yeah.
What's his face? Deku's costume looks more monstrous than heroic.
Yeah. Yeah, he be scaring civilians even though he saved them.
And then obviously class 1A getting together to find a way to help, and then you get the ending part of the episode. Good, another solid episode. Now, albeit I still think, and I never got your thoughts about last week's episode. Everybody didn't get your thoughts about last week. I went solo review. What were your thoughts on last week's episode with Deku versus Lady Nagant and how that whole thing ended?
Well, like, what? I don't know what I got no words after honestly, I expected that All for One would eventually have a backup plan for if Lady Nagan would betray him.
Anything
What
else?
do you want me to say?
All right. I said it was my favorite episode of season 6. So yes.
So even more than this episode.
Yes. By far, last episode probably is gonna be my favorite episode of the entire season.
Only because he'd just be simping for Lady Nagan for me.
It's not that. I thought the animation was great. I just thought the entire episode was just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Lady Nagant.
You're telling yourself that.
Okay. All right. Anyways, let's start off with this episode review. So we actually pick up where we last left off from last week after Lady Nagant kabloomed.
Yeah, she told us the location and stuff, and that's when Deku started going all about. He started changing, not only physically but mentally.
Yes. So they go to the mansion that Lady Nagant directed them to go to. While also and now we'll talk about Lady Nagant later. They made a mention about Lady Nagant in this episode when all the heroes were talking. They go into the mansion, and there is absolutely
Nobody but a trap.
so. Go right ahead and what do we see?
We see pretty much a projection of All for One. He's saying I love making predictions and stuff, and I knew you would come here eventually. And he even goes on by saying, I don't even care about All Might anymore. My next target is you, Izuku Midoriya.
And then another kabloom.
Yes, that's what yep, it's a trap.
Now, what is it? I believe they did a small little cut content. They did show in the manga, they did show the aftermath after the explosion. If you're wondering how the hell did Deku, Endeavor, and the other heroes manage to get out of there, they cut that from the episode. Don't know why they did. Um, Literally Deku, if for people with background information, in the manga, Deku literally reacted to it so fast he was able to get all the heroes out in the nick of time before the explosion went off.
Hmm.
Now, again, why they cut that out of the episode? No clue. But I guess they wanted to save time. That's my only guess.
Hmm. I
So
mean,
yes,
I cannot really imagine people complaining. I
I haven't
can,
seen anybody else's review, but it's a little tiny scene. It doesn't
yeah,
really.
yeah, I agree with that, but I can tell that there's gonna be one or two or three nitpickers out there that are gonna start complaining. I just know. I just know.
Yeah, I know. It gets annoying. Anyways, so we move on from there, and practically, I'm trying to recall most of the episode, even though I watched it early this morning. Let's talk about the heroes between the top heroes little meeting. The Endeavor, Hawks, Best Genius, Kamari Woods, what is it,
Not
Mount Lady. They were all in this room in this warehouse, I guess, just talking about what All for One said and things like that, and they're wondering like, oh, what the heck, what the heck's to do? We can't find him, and obviously, kind of the thing is, well, maybe we should use Deku to bring him out and things like that. Maybe we should let other heroes know, but I guess to play devil's advocate, they're like, well, yeah, we could do that, but other heroes are quitting, so what's the point in telling them if they're freaking quitting and they know the secret? They might as well just bitch out and just tell All for One, hey, this kid's there. Never thought of that, huh?
Hmm.
Now who is the one? Oh, so the one hero we find out in this week's episode who retired is Death Arms. That was the guy at the start of the season who found that one little dopey looking hero who was working with the Paranormal Liberation Army.
Yeah, I, honestly, that got me. That got me. I didn't expect him to quit.
Yeah, he practically was like, I can't take this no more. So, and he even said like, I'm not a hero. I'm like,
I'm a human.
yeah, I'm like, well then shit, okay, yeah, Again, listen, I understand the immense stress that these. Oh, and two, he made a very good point. He said, yes, for all, there can be one cheer from the audience, but the thing is, it'll take one boo, and then more boos will come more than the cheers. And I was like, he makes a good point there. There'll be that one person that will cheer, but if you get constant boos, well, a lot of people are gonna boo you just to fit in, right?
Yeah.
Now, personally, if you ask me, who gives a shit about if they're booing you? Go out and do your job. That's what you signed up for. So, that shows me that he only cared about the attention. And honestly, it's kind of like what Hero Killer Sting said, which we'll talk about him in a second. It's this whole thing of, well, we can see the ones that were quitting, they were only truly doing this for the money and the fame. They weren't doing this to be actual heroes. Because it was the hip thing, because All Might was the number one guy, and things like that. But yeah, they end up talking about like, well, what should we do? Should we increase like Deku's activities so you can bring him out? They really don't know what to do, but that's kind of when we cut over to Deku and we get a call. All Might gives a call, and we find out that one of the assassins that were sent after Deku, well, Deku took care of him with utter ease.
Yeah, with those menacing looking eyes under the mask.
Yeah. And this is when we get Deku and All Might's breakup.
Come again?
I said, I guess is where we get Deku and All Might's breakup, aka Deku leaves All Might. I don't mean it in that way, bro. Come on.
Not great. Now there's gonna be fan art.
Trust
There's
me.
gonna be fan
You
art.
already know there's fan art like that.
Yeah, I know. There's gonna be more. There's gonna be more of that also. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, stay off Rule 34, kids. Anyways, uh,
Go on, go on, go on. Don't mind me. Don't mind my expressions.
yes, we get the scene, where Deku ends up leaving All Might, and this is kind of a heartbreaking scene right then and there, because in a way, All Might kind of sees himself, in Deku, and Deku is just walking away. He's telling All Might, "Listen, be careful. That dude can explode. So, yeah, you can take him back." And obviously, All Might has the food, the bento box, and he's like, "Here, don't you want to eat? I think you should get some. I think you should get some sleep too. You look like you might be sleep deprived." And what are the two words Deku says?
I'm fine.
Yes, he says that he's fine, and he says that you don't need to follow me anymore, All Might. And he practically kind of is like, bro, I'm literally stronger than you, man, right now. In a way, he kind of said, I'm literally am stronger than you were in your prime right now, which in some cases it's true. Right now, because obviously you have the added quirks and things like that. Um, what is it? And he's like, listen, you don't need to worry about me. I'll be fine. And then he pretty much floats off. It's kind of an emotional scene. All Might trips over and he's just recalling back to the moment where he thinks Night Eyes, telling him like the whole thing about when Night Eye told Deku like, oh, he would suffer some horrible fate if he were to continue. And then he recalls back to the moment where in season 5, he's like, he's not even looking back at me anymore. He's just going full force ahead, and it's kind of a heartbreaking moment, man. Like, mentor leaves our student leaves the mentor.
Yeah. Just the fact that All Might just realized he forgot to tell him that it's okay to rest every now and then, and he tried to reach out for Deku's hand. That's yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we know that Deku's carrying this burden with All For One getting in the picture. We know Deku, when he's determined to try to do something, he's gonna be determined to do something. And he's carrying this huge burden that honestly he looks like he could be delegating it to other people around him. So yes, but as the scene cuts, who do we see lurking in the shadows?
Stain! And he's right next to All Might too.
Now, remember, All Might was supposed to talk to Stain when he was first in prison, but because of everything that happened in season 3, All Might couldn't do that. And then with the whole fact of his retirement, he can never get a chance to talk to Stain. We're finally, potentially, getting that conversation between Stain and All Might.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Stain insanely looked up to All Might.
Yeah.
So, just a prediction, what do you expect to happen?
Two things. Stain listens to what All Might has to say and then kills him.
Mm.
Two. He just listens to All Might and then just goes after Deku.
Oh, okay. Interesting predictions there. Interesting predictions indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. Now, in the meantime, we actually get a montage, which I'm guessing several days have passed and weeks have passed. And in this montage, what do we see Deku doing?
Stopping in like the jailbreakers and Loki scaring the civilians because of how he looks now.
Yes. Obviously, they say like there's people who are saying like, oh yeah, there's this dude he's saving people, but he doesn't look like a hero. Like, you see his mask all like manged up and looking like more like creaturous, villainous. His freaking hands are all like, the gloves at this point are so mangled. They look like claws, my man.
Hmm.
The feet, they look like monster feet, to be honest.
Yeah, and
Um,
the ears on his head, uh, look like something out of Sonic the Hedgehog.
like his entire costume scheme looks beat up, crazy, doing this. And then two, he even looks more intimidating when he got the black whip just 100% activated right then and there, making him look like freaking Dr. Octopus from what I heard another reviewer talk about. Um,
It could be there could be a different comparison, but I hear you.
hold on a quick second. Okay. In the meantime, so in the meantime, Deku is at this one like city area where there's obviously another assassin after him, and it's this guy named Dictator. Practically, we find out what this guy's quirk is. He practically can speak, and then he can make regular civilians go under control of him and make him do what they want. And at this point, even before Deku confronts Dictator, we kind of see him almost damn near collapse. Like you can tell this guy is exhausted. He is tired from probably just doing nonstop fighting and probably not even getting sleep. So, man sleep deprived, he's tired, he's exhausted. Heck, you can even see the black whips. They look a little bit fuzzed out to the point where they look like they just want to retract back in. And you can tell, and then he's emotionally, I wouldn't say emotionally unstable, but his mind space isn't right because he's too exhausted, you know? Um,
Hmm.
but when it looks like, Dictator sends these civilians on him and he's like, I just gotta think of something. I just gotta think of something. Now, the question is, would have Deku did something to get out of the situation? Who knows? But if he had did, well, we can only imagine that he would have been captured. The next person would have fought him, anyways, because he's so exhausted.
Not only that, he'll have to avoid every single civilian and try not to hurt them. So
Oh yeah, that's right. He said he couldn't use Air Force. He doesn't have his Air Force gauntlets. It's just his regular like season 2 gloves. Which I don't think he's mastered the ability to do Air Force without breaking his fingers or something like that again. So yes, but who comes just in time to help Deku in his time of need?
out with the explosion, Bakugo.
Yes,
Or what's his hero name again?
Red Explosion, Murder God, Dynamite.
Jesus, Bakugo, why?
Yes. um, Class 1A helps out to stop Dictator. They say they secured him. And this is when we get a flashback about a few days. Obviously, this is after the events where Deku left UA. They're all worried about it. And they're like, why would this freaking dude just up and leave us and not freaking tell us? And Bakugo's kind of pissed off on the fact. Or two, heck, even before, going back to when the little hero little conference they had in that warehouse, we actually see sorry, I heard my mom scream. We actually saw on Endeavor's phone who tried to call him.
All Might.
Not All Might.
Wait.
Before Hawks got a call.
Shoto, Totoro.
Yeah, Shoto. Now Bakugo makes the mention. He's like, "Hey, haven't you been getting in or no, it was not Bakugo. I think it was Momo that said it. Momo asked, like, "Hey, haven't you been getting in contact with your mentors to see what's going on?" AKA, obviously, we know Tokoyami's mentor is Hawks. Bakugo's mentor is Best Genius, and obviously, in a way, Shoto's mentor is Endeavor. But they're like, no, they haven't been picking up their phones at all. They've been leaving us on code red. So they're pretty much talking like it's not cool that Deku left us and he ran away like that and just didn't want to confront us and tell us, the stuff. So in a way, they're kind of more upset at the fact that Deku just didn't tell them to their faces, like, hey, I have one for all. I have this like superhuman ability from All Might, yada yada yada. Now obviously Bakugo knew, but Bakugo was kind of the thing like the damn nerd just ran away and he didn't want to tell it. And also too, Bakugo's like, please, I know Deku more than anybody else. I know Deku more than Endeavor and all these other heroes. When Deku sets out to have a burden, when Deku sets out to do something, he's gonna carry that burden 100%, and he's gonna do it till he fulfills what he needs to do. So they come up with a let's just say a very sneaky strategy. They actually get Nezu to call Endeavor to show up. Endeavor shows up. Endeavor's like, wait, why are you guys here? But then Endeavor realizes, like, wait, they tricked me, didn't they? Now they pretty much say, hey, you don't, or Bakugo pretty much says, like, hey, you don't know, what is it? You don't know Deku like I do. Shoto also gets in a line saying, like, I thought we were supposed to work together to stop Dabi, or Toya. And Endeavor kind of gives that side eye look where he's like, you already saved me, so I'm doing this on my own right now. But obviously Shoto's like, no, we promise we do this together. But obviously Bakugo gets in the whole thing of saying, like, hey, you don't know Deku. You know Deku's going to carry this burden. And he's going to continue to do it till practically he wears himself out. Then Endeavor pretty much literally takes his phone and he just is like,
Shiny.
yes. And obviously you see Mineta, Kota, Invisible Girl, and Sarah, they all jump on the phone. They're like, is this his location to find him? Now, I honestly feel like Endeavor just did that to do that, because he knows there's gonna be nothing stopping these kids. And I also forgot to mention, even we get a scene with the One for All users, they're like, this kid's mind space ain't right. There's something, and the second user brings up a point. He's like, there's only one thing that can save this boy. And then obviously he makes the mention later in the episode is like, that's his friends. And then we cut back to the present. So we find out that that's the reason they used the tracker he had on Deku and they found him. Bakugo instantly taunts Deku. He's like, oh, look at you, Mr. All Might Wannabe. Look at you. You can barely pick yourself up. You know, and then Deku's like, listen, what are you guys doing here? He's putting on his dirty mask. He's like, listen, I don't need your guys' help. Go back to UA. I got this. I'm fine. And obviously Bakugo's taunting him still. He's like, man, please. And then he throws out this like line where I think it got a little bit under Deku's nerves. He's like, really now? Are you smiling right now, saving people? And you have to admit, that must have hit Deku a little weird hard, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, practically, the thing is, they're Deku's trying to say, listen, you guys don't need to be here, but at the end of the day, Baku was like, man, please, you're not, why would you leave us out of this? If you got a burden to carry, then we're carrying this alongside you. And things like that. So, and practically UA Class 1A, pretty much gears up and they look like they're ready to confront Deku. And Deku looks like he's like, well, if you're going to get in my way, then I'm just going to have to make you get out of my way. And that's where the episode ends off, on the cliffhanger where literally next episode preview, the episode is literally titled Deku versus Class 1A. My friends' fears have come to fruition.
Well, you did kind of tease me a long time ago.
Yes, I did. So, yes.
Boy.
Thoughts about that whole scene?
I'm under suspense right now.
Now the question is, do you think Deku actually hurt his friends? I don't think he would actually hit them.
Considering you said that, I'm assuming no.
I'm just saying, I don't think he would hit his friends. He cares about his friends.
I hope not. If not, that's another fear I have to look after.
So, we got Dark Deku versus Class 1A. Now, I do remember this part in the manga. I was like, in my manga chapter reviews, in the build up to this part, I was always predicting, I'm like, I really do hope we get that moment where Class 1A goes after him and they have to get into a fight with him to bring him back to UA. Because at this point, let's be honest, the only people that can bring him back to UA to get him that sleep, because he literally rejected All Might, who else other than his friends?
Yep.
Now, I will give Class 1A, I think, a chance, because I think if we know Deku, he easily probably wreck shop with each and every one of them individually. We already know he could probably beat Bakugo too.
Very possible.
But you got to look into the factor. Now, Deku's worn out, he's exhausted, and he's tired. You have to imagine that, Class 1A, they have at least, you would say, a puncher's chance. That's how much I would give them, because even if Deku's exhausted, he's still got one for all his quirks and things like that. And on top of it, he knows their quirks in and out better than probably anybody else does.
Yes.
Because he studied alongside them, so it's gonna be an interesting episode next week. So, yes. Now, who's your prediction you think will get to Deku if they manage to get through to Deku?
Well, Bakugo would probably beat the shit out of him. Or I'd say Uraraka, judging from the opening.
Okay. All right. All right. So, hot levels for next week?
11 out of 10.
Okay. Season's winding down. So yes, again, who knows when the wait for season 7 will come. Right now I haven't read the chapter yet. I haven't read the unofficial. I'll probably just read the official tomorrow when it releases tomorrow. So that chapter, whoo boy, things are getting interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. For good ways. For all good, not bad, good.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Manga chapter reviews for My Hero and Black Clover. They will probably go up later in the afternoon because again, I have a busy more Sunday morning I have to do. Again, if you guys don't understand, I not only have my job that I got to do, I also have an internship as well. So internship will cut it into Sunday morning. So look forward to that tomorrow. Other episode reviews like Don Machi, which was great, Endo and Kobayashi, Tomo-chan is a girl. Those reviews will go up throughout the weekend and things like that, or throughout, maybe I'll upload some of them tomorrow, and then into Monday and Tuesday, and things like that. So only other thing other than this episode going up obviously today, you're gonna get your One Piece One Piece went on break. The anime went on break. Darn it, man.
Wait, what?
I think the anime went on break this week. Yes, unexpected break. But actually, speaking of One Piece, if it's not too late, which it probably will be, so I might not. I'll see. If you guys don't know, there is an English dub special of Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Toriko coming on Toonami tonight. Toonami, aka Cartoon Network, tonight at 1 a.m. your standard time. So for Eastern Standard Time, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Central time, Central Time, Mountain Time, same time, and then obviously for Pacific Time, 1 a.m. Now I think I can watch it on this app, the episode on this app that lets me see it at Eastern Standard Time, which would be, I think, 10 p.m. over here. So I might be able to give my review of the One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Toriko special, English dub special, review on that. I'm not really gonna go like crazy in depth and things like that, but I'm just gonna talk about my enjoyment with the special and just my overall enjoyment of the fact that I'm happy that this special that was subbed for so long finally is being brought to being dubbed. Especially for Dragon Ball, because it's the first anime like episode type of thing we've gotten since Dragon Ball Superhero.
I guess so. Yeah.
Unless you count the Dragon Ball Hero Super, yeah, the Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime, which I don't talk about on the channel because they're like 8-minute episodes. I just
Mm.
watch them and then I'm like, okay, cool.
I don't think it's worth watching anyways. At
So
this
yeah, glad to hear it all dubbed. I'll talk about probably a majority of the voice actors in that special and how they did in their performance. The only thing I'll probably hate from the that special is probably the animation. The animation was like done back in the day when it was that just crappy Toei animation. Um like that was like because this special is like a piece of one, it's an episode of One Piece. So it was back during the time of like Punk Hazard.
long time ago. A
Yeah, that was like
long time ago.
that was back like when I think One Piece, and it was like it's like episode 590. So that's in that range of like Punk Hazard, Dressrosa stuff right there. So unless it was like a like great moment for that for the anime in that port, the One Piece anime from Toei around that mark wasn't the best, not like it is in Wano now.
Mhm.
So look forward to that review either tonight or tomorrow. Again, like I said, Tomo-chan is a girl, Damachi, Endo and Kobayashi, the manga chapter reviews, they'll go up probably tomorrow/Monday and Tuesday. Again, like I said, I would get these episodes out a little bit sooner, but I work, and then when I get back from work, I'm pretty exhausted. Driving a long distance, it's not fun driving there early in the morning, then driving back in the morning. So yeah. But anyways, I enjoy my job at the end of the day, regardless. But that's kind of the thing. I will also have to make a video on Spring of Anime 2023 content, talking about what animes I might watch/review on the channel. Which is funny because most of the animes I said for Winter of Anime, I thought initially for episode 1 I'd be talking about, but then I wouldn't say drop them. I like them. It's just I watch them on my own time, but there's still animes like I gotta catch up. Like for example, Near Automata. I watched episode 1. They went on break for after a few episodes. I gotta catch up with that. Like
Oh yeah,
point
I
blank.
gotta start watching that actually.
Like I'm hearing good things about it. I I gotta catch up with that. It's sometimes you just can't handle all these animes to review. There's too many. I will say this, especially with all the anime delays. I know we're extending this video a lot longer than it should be, but I kind of do hope there's lesser anime next season compared to this season, because I feel like so many animes these studios are doing is overworking these people, and that's why we're getting all these delays.
Not only that, one anime would be popular, but they wouldn't even know about the other anime. Like what happened with Dragon Quest Adventure at Die. Like all these animes were going around, and Dragon Quest Adventure Die wasn't really mentioned as much.
Yeah, and it's kind of the suck about it. That's kind of the thing about all these anime seasons, especially when you have a gang flux of animes. You'll have this one bright spot that nobody will talk about because everybody's watching the big hitter ones. They don't watch the smaller ones, and if they end up watching the smaller ones, they get back to it after the season's almost over. Unless it's one of the ones that nobody expected would be good. It gets flagged, for example, Horus Recoil. Nobody expected that to be super super good, and then next thing you know, it's winning freaking anime awards for how good it was.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. But anyways, look forward to that in the coming days and things like that. Again, like I said, I would love to have these videos out a lot faster, but with my busy schedule and the fact that I don't have an editor, which can access my accounts and uploads things for me, that's kind of the thing now. Maybe I could get away with that at my job. I would just have to freaking record the videos, pre-record them, and then upload them during my work hours. But I'm too lazy to do that, and I need to really get better at that. Anyways, anything else final to say about this week's episode of My Hero Academia, or we can get out of here?
That's it. We can get out of here, man.
All right. Until then, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of My Hero Academia, as well as hit the subscribe button, not only to my channel, but my co-host channel, The Red Wolf. I'll leave a link in the description below. And yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys either later tonight for maybe the special episode, or tomorrow afternoon and things like that. But catch you guys next video. Peace.
Peace.